Om Shanti. In the Murli today, Baba says, you are not able to achieve as much with anger as you are with love. Become very sweet. Now, do you believe that if you work with love, you will achieve more than if you work with anger? So, we say yes, but we don't believe in it. Because when there is an option between using force and using love, you end up making the choice of using force, using anger rather than love. And that's because you deeply believe that more things get done with anger than with love. So this is a very important piece of knowledge. And you see, until and unless you do things with love, you will not realize the power of love. So we always talk about love, but we use anger. That is the paradox in which we live. So Baba today says that more can be achieved, more can be done with the power of love than with the power of anger. And we must experiment with this to experience it. But why don't I experiment with it? Because I don't have enough love. So if I have that kind of love, then only can I experiment with it and experience it. So today Baba talks, Baba in the Murli tells us to become very sweet. And Baba says that sweetness comes from knowledge. So when you imbibe the points of knowledge that Baba gives you, it makes you very sweet. And only when you have that sweetness, then you will have the capacity to continue to be sweet and continue to be cheerful, even when there is a situation in which you earlier used to use anger. So, continuing to be sweet, continuing to be cheerful, even when things and behaviors are not in your favor or they are not what you expected, that is the challenge. And that happens, that ability to continue to be sweet and cheerful despite the situations, that comes with the power of knowledge. Now, we will understand this piece of knowledge that Baba is giving us today through a short story. So, I will share a short story with you. So, there was this father who was taking his son by train, and both father and son were sitting. And the son kept looking out of the window, and every little thing he would ask his father. So, father, Papa, what is that? Or Daddy, what is that? And then the father would say, oh, beta, that's a cloud. Oh, beta, that's a tree, or that's, a hut. So, this way the father kept explaining every little thing to the child. Now, the son was 13 years of age. And the people who were sitting around were very irritated with this conversation, because they felt that at this age the child should know this stuff. So they were kind of objecting to this constant conversation because they wanted to sleep or take rest and they needed silence. So every time the child would ask a question and the father would answer, the people who were sitting around would get irritated. And then, one person just couldn't handle it anymore. So he said, "What is the matter with this boy? He's such a big boy, and why does he know this? Why doesn't he know this is a heart and this is water and this is cloud and this is a tree? And you of all the people should ask him to shut up, and you are not asking him to shut up. You are explaining everything. So we don't like this scenario, and you better stop." So then the father said that, "I understand where you're coming from, and if I were in your place, probably I would also say the same thing. But the thing is, my son is 13 years of age, but he doesn't know these things because he was blind by birth. And it is only today that he has got operated, and I'm taking him home after the operation. So he's looking at the world first time. So that's why he's so excited to see things which he always longed to see. And I have waited for this day for so long that I cannot help but explain, and I'm very happy to explain to him all that I wanted to always explain to him." So then, all the people around just melted, and at that moment they also felt like they should help the child understand everything around him. So do you understand that this is an example of when you know better, you feel different. Your perspective changes. So knowledge makes you sweet. So this is an example of how knowledge makes you sweet. So sometimes when you don't know something, then probably you are irritated or angry or you're upset about something, and it's got everything to do with that missing piece of knowledge. And Baba tells us that, there is no problem with how things are, and they are the way they are because of a very good reason. And everything in the universe is accurate. So I like this word accurate very much, because Baba doesn't say everything is right, or Baba doesn't say everything is good. Baba says everything is accurate. That means it is in consonance with the reason for which it is what it is. So according to the laws, if you see, it is accurate. Now, because we don't know the laws, because we don't have the knowledge, that is why we feel these variety of emotions towards other, behaviors and situations. But once we have knowledge, knowledge makes us very, very sweet. Now let's understand how knowledge makes us sweet. So the first knowledge that Baba gives us is we are souls, and every soul has a pre-recorded part in them. So you are not like anybody, and nobody is like you. So although we are children of the same Father, we are very unique in ourselves, and everybody is different from the other. And that is why there is no scope for comparison or surprise, or that feeling of being surprised at why somebody could be different from you or think differently from you. So this is something that we must never forget. So this point of knowledge that every soul is different helps you to accept. And when you are not able to accept the other person's sanskars, then your sweetness is lost. So even if you see, whether you accept the other person's sanskars or you don't accept the other person's sanskars, doesn't matter, because they will be who they are, and they will continue to act according to their recording and journey. They can't help it or change it. But if you are not in cognizance of that fact, then you will keep losing your sweetness, and then it will become more and more difficult for you to get work done, or to achieve your task, because you have to play a role. And when there is an atmosphere of disharmony that you create because of this lack of knowledge, then it becomes more and more difficult for you to achieve the given task. So that is the whole thing. So first thing is this knowledge that everybody has a different sanskar, and then understanding that everybody is Baba's child. So every soul is Baba's child. So there is, because every soul is Baba's child and every soul is the child of the ocean of virtues and powers, every soul has that crux in them. So every soul has that core of knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss and power. Even if they have come very far away from that core, they still have that core. And if you touch that core, they will respond to you. So if you are able to access that core, you will be able to connect with that soul. So that is another thing which you must never forget, that every soul is Baba's child and you are Baba's child, and we are connected in the core. So despite the differences of sanskars, if you are cheerful, loveful, peaceful, knowledgeful, you will be able to connect with every soul, because there is a spiritual connection which is, by law, you are brothers to each other, brother souls to each other, children of the same Father. So this also you must never forget. So first thing is, you will be different in your sanskar, so accept that. And the second thing is, you are connected to each other in the core, so explore that. Don't forget to explore that. And in this whole journey of seva, I have not seen one single soul who doesn't respond to love, purity, happiness, peace. Everybody responds to this. So that's the catch. So second thing is, this connection, because you are children of the same Father, brother souls, there is this connection, and explore it and you can establish the connection. The third point of knowledge is the knowledge of time and drama. Now, you must understand that this is the time when you have become a Brahmin and you are listening to Shrimat, and other people are listening to Ravanmat. Yes, so other people, other souls are listening to the dictates of vices, and you are listening to Baba's Shrimat. And we are in Sangam Yuga, where, so have you seen in every religion there is a symbolism of the light and the dark coming together. So there is this yin and yang they show, which is, there is this whole continuum. So if you see the infinity sign through which it is made, it is a continuum, and then there is half light and half dark. So in this Sangam Yuga, we are in that state where there is light and darkness both. And when you understand the time, you understand that you and the souls who are not understanding Shrimat will have a lot of difference of opinion. So there will be, so what you understand, what you think is important, your priorities will be very different from others, but that you have to reconcile within yourself, that this is how it is and this is how it is supposed to be, and this is okay. So you don't question why shrimat doesn't make sense to anybody. So you must understand that shrimat will not make sense to everybody, and there are only 33 crore souls in the world who will understand Baba's knowledge, and others will not, and it is completely okay. And when you exist with them, you understand that it's not a question of whether they choose to understand or not. It's a question of whether they are destined to understand or not. Okay, so never think that because you are on shrimat, so everybody should get what you're doing because it's the truth and it's the right thing to do. And even if it doesn't make sense to others, you have to accept that. You have to understand that we are not the same, and according to time, according to the cycle of time, everybody, every soul is under the influence of Ravan Mat, and now you are learning from Baba. So your point of view will be very different from others. And I will tell you one example in this regard. So when I was working in the office and I wanted leaves to go to Madhuban and to meditate and to do seva, so my boss would get very angry and he would tell me that why don't you find a better reason to waste your leaves, because I don't think that you should be wasting your leaves for these reasons, because if you go to Mount Abu or if you meditate, that's a waste of a leaf. So then I said, what is the good use of a leaf? You could tell me that also. So he said that a good use is when people get married and they have children, and so there is a pregnancy, and then or somebody dies or somebody gets married. So I said, okay, so if you think like that, then I can write that for you. So my brother is getting married or my sister is getting married. But see, you can, so the thing is, they have what they think that that's a good reason for using your leave, and if you use it for this reason, you're wasting your leave. But I understand that this is the only way your leaf should be used. So that is a difference, and that difference will be there because you come from two different worlds now. Do you understand that the confluence means you are living in the same world, but it's like you're coming from two different worlds because the source is so different. They are listening to voices and you're listening to Baba. And that is why there will always be this huge difference of opinion. And you have to understand that this is how it is supposed to be and it is okay. And with that, you have to not lose your sweetness. And the moment you start questioning, why can't this person understand that this is the right way, then you start losing your sweetness and your cheerfulness. Okay, and then the thing is, you have to still work in the office and that person has to still sanction your leaves. So you better be on the same page with him, not on the same page like you agree, but like you agree to disagree. So that is the kind of chord you have to set if you want to continue in this world in a smooth fashion. So when you're sweet, you are able to achieve more. When that energy of love is not compromised, when that energy of love is not blocked, And that energy of love is only blocked when you start questioning why the other person is the way he is, or even situations. Sometimes it's not people but situations. So you start questioning why this is happening in the world, or you start asking yourself why this is happening to me, and then your sweetness is lost, then your cheerfulness is lost. But when you remember the drama, that it is the end of the cycle, and how else would Kali Yuga be? How else would Kali Yuga be? Kali Yuga would be like this. And I told, so there was this one sister, and she was telling me that my son is a very obedient son, and he's very nice, very helpful. He's with me all the time. We are on the same page all the time. And his father is just the opposite. So he and I don't get along at all, and we are always fighting, always having arguments. And then I said, what about other people? So she said, other things, it's great at work, everything is fine. So I said, and what are you here for? So she said, I don't like this one thing which is not okay in my life. So I said, do you understand you are in Kali Yuga and you have only one problem? That's a very good scenario to be in. So when you are in Kali Yuga and you have 3 things working in your favor and 2 not working in your favor, that is a sign that you've done some good karma. So never forget that you have had a long karmic journey. 63 births of body conscious karma. And it is obvious that some things will not be in your favor. But if you understand the time you're living in, then you will always count your blessings. You will feel really grateful that you have circumstances, at least 1 or 2, which are working for you. Because according to the time cycle, that's a great thing to have. And if you are working with this assumption that everything around you should be perfect, then you don't understand the time you're living in. And that expectation that things around you should be perfect can drive you crazy. So when you understand the time, you understand that imperfect is good enough. Even if everything is not perfect, it is good enough. And you are receiving some support, some help, some sustenance, and then you have Baba, and you will be very, very grateful. Your heart will be, what do you say? It will be flowing with gratitude. If you just understand the time you're living in and the fortune you have. So you see, if you don't act knowledgefully and you don't consider the time and you only consider the haves and have-nots, then you will feel miserable about yourself all the time. But you must understand that in this world, people, Baba in the Murli once said that there are as many forms of sorrow as there are human beings. So, the ways in which sorrow can be experienced is a multitude. There are millions of ways in which people are experiencing sorrow in this time. And if you understand the time cycle, you will understand that, you have enough. And every Brahman soul, every soul who was a deity soul and now you are with Baba, you have a lot to thank Baba for. That's our destiny. There is no Brahman soul who is dealing with more than they can handle. So with Baba, you see, you have too much to be grateful for. And then Baba says, this is what helps you maintain your sweetness and your cheerfulness. So the knowledge of the soul, time, the knowledge of, Baba, and this connection that we have with Baba and with other souls, this helps you maintain your sweetness and cheerfulness at every moment. And a sweet and cheerful soul is able to achieve much more in Sangam Yuga than those who give up on their sweetness and cheerfulness. First thing is, the experience of life becomes so difficult and dry. And the second thing is, because you're dry, you keep rubbing, harshly against everyone you meet, and then that also creates more troubles. So this is there. So first thing, the knowledge, the importance of knowledge for sweetness. Second thing is, why do you need to be sweet? First, so one thing is, okay, that you accept, you move on, and you are not rubbing people the wrong way, and you are able to achieve more. But then what do you have to achieve in Sangam Yuga? That's the big question. So what you achieve in Sangam Yuga is punya karma. And when you are able to be sweet, you are able to bring that other soul closer to Baba. So, it's not that when you're sweet, only your selfish motives are met. Because, selfishness and sweetness don't go together. If you are sweet because of a selfish motive, then you will continue to be sweet only until that selfish motive is served. The moment it is not served, you cannot continue to be sweet. So Baba says, knowledgeful means sweet, but then knowledgeful means also understanding sweet why. Because you are sweet anyway, so you are not giving up on your sweetness, even if the other person is misbehaving, or you're not able to come on the same page with them. Then what is the purpose? What is the larger purpose for which you have to continue to be sweet? So the larger purpose is, you don't lose your quality. That is one purpose. Second reason is, you bring that soul closer to Baba. You bring that soul closer to Baba. So, and you also, give them that inheritance of Baba, that inheritance of knowledge and sweetness and cheerfulness. So when you have the knowledge of how you need to be, you also have to have clarity about the aim. So because people think that you should be sweet so that you get along with people and then your purpose is served. Baba also uses the expression get work done. But what is the work is very important, because if you think the work is a selfish interest, then you cannot continue to be sweet if that selfish interest is not served. But you are a Sangam Yugi Brahmin, and when Baba speaks the Murli to us, then Baba assumes that we understand that our work is to bring every soul closer to Baba. So that's our job, right? So that's why we are Brahmins in Sangam Yuga. So Baba says that work of getting each soul closer to Baba will be done better if you be knowledgeful and you are always sweet. Otherwise, what happens is, because they are not able to come in consonance with you, they also get away from Baba. So that is the reason. So understand the aim also very well, because if there is no clarity of aim, then that qualification will not be able to be maintained. So when we undertake the course, we have the So Baba teaches us who you are, who you belong to, what is the aim. So we have to go back, we have to come to that world of harmony, and for that we have to come close to Baba right now, because Baba will give us the virtues and the powers to go to that world. So at this point of time, our aim is to be close to Baba and bring everybody close to Baba. And if you have the knowledge and keep that aim in your awareness, then also you will not compromise on your sweetness and cheerfulness. So this is there. And then today Baba also talks about the knowledge, the importance of knowledge for yoga. Now, so you see, yoga is a mental connection. So right now, I and you are also in yoga with each other. Yes, so we are listening to each other. But let me ask you one simple question. Are you in yoga with me, or are you in yoga with your idea of me? Your idea of me. Obviously, because you think I am this person. So everybody has an image, yes, a mental image and a mental understanding of who I am, and you are connecting with that idea of you. So when you say yoga with Baba, then it's always yoga with your idea of Baba. So what is yoga? Yoga is the soul connecting with God. This is yoga, simple. The definition of yoga is the soul connecting with God. Now, until and unless you understand who is a soul, what is a soul, and who is Baba, what is Baba, everything about Baba, that connection cannot be accurate, because if your idea and the reality don't match, then you cannot receive the full import of Baba's powers. Yes, now let's say Baba is the ocean of love, but I only know that Baba is somebody who punishes you for wrong. And I'm always connecting to Baba thinking that I've done wrong and I will be punished by God. Then my life will become very miserable and full of fear and always expecting punishment, because I'm moving with the idea that Baba has seen all my wrongdoings and he's trying to punish me in every possible way, and then I'm traumatized by every event that happens in my life, and I think that God is punishing me. So as is your understanding, so is your yoga, and so is your experience. This is why Baba comes and tells us that you have to understand the truth first. So the soul, and then you see that when you don't know that you are a soul and you connect with Baba with the man and buddhi, then you are trying to connect with Baba by physically reaching temples and pilgrimage places and this and that, because you think that he lives in a physical dimension and you have to take your body there and then you have to meet physically with Baba. So Baba says, how can you connect with me if you don't know the truth about me? And how can you connect with me if you don't know the truth about yourself? Or you don't know the purpose of this connection? Now, we have been told everything about Baba. You know, we read about God in the religion, and religion tells us so many things about Baba. Now, we have been told that God is somebody who gets annoyed at your wrongdoings and punishes you, and then his task is to shower you with engagements and marriages and gifts and toys and good grades and jobs. But he says, that's not what I do. And if you are, you are, you are approaching me with the request which I do not entertain, which I cannot entertain, which is not my department, then you will only get frustrated over time and keep questioning, why is Baba not doing his job? Which is exactly what is happening in the world today. We don't know Baba, so everybody is praying to God, but they are not receiving what they can and should receive because they don't know who Baba is. And Baba says that you don't know who you are, you don't know who I am, you don't know that you have to connect through the man and buddhi, and you have to stabilize your buddhi in my dimension, in my form, in my qualities. If you don't know the method, how will you meditate? Now this is the most important thing, because you see, people are always saying that we want to meditate but we don't want to listen to knowledge. Yes, so there was this one sister and she said, I told her, you come to class? She said, Didi, I can't come to class, but I want to meditate. I said, okay, meditate, good for you. Sit there, meditate. I showed her Baba's room and I said, go sit there and meditate. And then she came and she said, when I'm sitting in silence, all my demons are coming out and all my past and every worry and every fear is coming. So I said, this is what I'm telling you. If there is rubbish inside, that will emerge when you sit in silence. So first you have to fill this with the truth. Because truth is powerful, truth is peaceful, truth is happy. So the quality of truth is, truth makes you happy, truth makes you loveful, truth makes you powerful. That is what we call knowledge. If you don't listen to that, then this is rubbish, bhara hua hai here. So you sit in silence, that rubbish will emerge. So until you listen to knowledge, how will you experience, Baba's love or peace or truth? You cannot experience all of that until you listen to knowledge. So Baba, in the last part of the Murli, this is what is being explained very well. So knowledge makes you sweet, and even the foundation of yoga is knowledge. And without knowledge, there cannot be yoga, because you always connect with your idea of something. And until your idea and the truth match, there cannot be a true connection. There cannot be a true connection. So, have you seen that people live in the same house but they don't feel connected? Because you are not trying to understand who they are, you are trying to impose your idea of who they are on them. Yes? Why are you? So you're thinking about the other person all the time. You have good wishes, good feelings, lot of love. But that love is not reaching that person. Why? Because he's not the person you think he is. And he doesn't need what you think he wants. So you are always trying to impose your idea of who they are on them. You are not trying to understand who they are. So there is no connection. There is absolutely no connection between two souls these days. Because you are connecting to your idea, which is false, and that falsehood is disappointing you. But if you really try to sit, observe and figure out who they are, what is their sanskar, and you try to build a rapport with that reality, then there would be an energy exchange and you could have a connection. But you need to clean your mirror first. So there is so much of ideas inside that until and unless you clean your inner world from those ideas, you cannot see the truth. Yes, most people don't love their husband because of the idea of what a husband should be like, or they don't love their wife because of the idea of what their wife should be like. But if they just dropped that idea and looked at the spouse, they would feel that okay, they are not that bad. Yes, but that idea is the whole problem. And that's why we don't love Baba also. And Baba's love is not able to reach us also, because we are not willing to let go of that idea which we have held for so long. And until and unless we let go of that idea, and how do you let go of the idea? Until you listen to the truth every day. Only then can you revise that whole idea you're carrying. And because you see, what I have experienced is, for 5-7 years you keep only hearing what you want to hear, and after that even the ability to listen takes so much time to develop. And then you start actually listening to, okay, Baba is not saying that, Baba is saying this. Because 4 years you are only listening to your idea being reverberated in the Murli also. So all of that is a huge process. That's why Baba says daily Murli, listening intently and in a surrendered manner. So you're not trying to, with a clean mirror you sit and you see what Baba is trying to tell you about you and him and the design and what to do, what not to do. Then you will have clarity and connection, and in that connection you will experience everything. You will experience love, light, you will experience elevation, you will experience that you're moving ahead. So this is Baba's Murli today. There are lots of points in the Murli today. I have probably taken up the simplest ones. There are very deep points in the Murli today also, but since there are some souls who are listening to the Murli for the first times, I thought this is a good idea. So you read the Murli, go through it several times, try to figure out what you have to think about today. Have your own manthan also. Om Shanti.